Hanukkah, Jontef a scheiner, a lustiger, a freilicher, nicht da noch a seiner. Alle Nacht in Dreidel spielen mir, so die Käse Latkes essen mir. Geschwinder sind Kinder, die Chanike Lichter lachon. Lo mir alle singen, lo mir alle springen und lo mir alle tanzen in Korn. Lo mir alle singen und lo mir alle springen und lo mir alle tanzen in Korn.
Oh, dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, oh, dreidel, I shall play.
Dreidel, 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 it loves to dance and spin. A happy game of dreidel. Come play now. Let's begin. Thank you.
I have a little dreidel. I made it out of wood. And when y'all are ready, I'll play you if I could. Oh, dreidel, 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 I made it out of wood. And when y'all are ready, I'll play you if I could. Yo, turn me up in the headphones. Dreidel, 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 made it out of gold. When it's cold, you are already, I'ma play it when it's cold. So cold.
Dreidel, 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 I made it out of sand. But when I tried to spin it, it crumbled in my hand, crumbled in my hand. Crumbled in my hand.
I have a little dreidel. I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, dreidel, I shall play. I shall play.
I shall play. I shall play. I shall play. I shall play.
Oh, dreidel, 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 che ti farò fare. And when it's dry and ready, oh, dreidel, I shall play. Dreidel, 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 che ti farò fare. And when it's dry and ready, oh, dreidel, I shall play.
I shall play. Oh, I shall play.
I shall play. I shall play. I shall play. I shall play. I shall play. I shall play. I shall play. I shall play. I have a little dreidel, 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 I shall play. Dun, 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 dun.
I had a little dreidel, I made it out of clay.
He made it out of clay. He made it out of clay. Out of clay.
Dreidel, dreidel,
Oh, dreidel, dreidel, dreidel.
I'm feeling pretty great. Got lockers on my plate. I love this holiday. I love this holiday. And Kislev is the day. Like candles 1 through 8. And a new one every day. I love this holiday. I'm spinning dreidels, onions and potatoes, coming to my table. Smells so good. Lived Judah Maccabee. His army was so weak, but they still beat the Greeks. Supply of oil wasn't great, but a miracle took place. It burned for 8 whole days. Burned for 8 whole days.
So in December, take time to remember, with 4 Hebrew letters, spinning round, singing it's gonna be 8 nights. 'Cause we're counting up to 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. And these like us taste so great, 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 great. That's how we celebrate, break, 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 break. It's Hanukkah, the Hanukkah. Made a dreidel out of clay, 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 clay. When it's ready, I will play, 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 play. Got a gimel, not a hey, 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 hey. Mazel tov, mazel tov.
Hanukkah, Hanukkah, it's Hanukkah, 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 Hanukkah.
Hey! Just remember, if life's been getting you down, you should be thinking about the miracle of light and the story of the Maccabees.
Spin a nun and you don't get none, and you put one in if you're landing on a shin. If you wind up with a hay, you get half the total pay. But if you spin a little gimel, then you take.
Yeah.
'Cause we're counting up to 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. We escaped enough of faith, 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 faith. That's how we celebrate, break, 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 break. It's Hanukkah, the Hanukkah. The candle's gonna burn, 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 burn. And the dreidels gonna turn, 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 turn. Got some history to learn, 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 learn. The Hanukkah, the Hanukkah. Let me tell you now. With Antiochus in control, we spread new laws around. Put idols in our temple, left a big mess on the ground. Maccabees said that's enough, the faith wouldn't be shown. The mighty few drove out the Greeks and then started to look. Oh, Judah, here's your final chance to light the menorah. Don't want the temple to sit in the dark. For 8 days all the lights will shine and glow. But now that we have one little spark, all we want, all we need, all we want. Here's your final chance to light the menorah. Don't want the temple to sit in the dark. For 8 days all the lights will shine and glow. But now that we have one little spark, we overcame the Greek attack, bringing our traditions back. Light the menorah, I'll be there. Fill the dark with holy light. Add one more for every night. Gather together, I'll be there. Don't you know, baby, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. Gather together, I'll be there.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da. Happy Hanukkah. Spin dreidels on the floor. Got presents I want more.
you. All about the nays. Sit yourself down, have a treat. Got lots of oily foods to eat. 1, 2, 3, donuts filled with jelly. Life goes with sour cream. Sing with me finally, cause the Jews are free. We are inspired by candles fire. We tell the story when light lasted 8 days. The Greeks were cruel, no heart, but we Jews fought hard to victory, and the light lasted 8 days. Gonna fry up some potato pancakes for a night, and when it's ready I'll play. When it's dry, this street was free of BPA, cause I made it out of clay. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. First night this shirt, bang, and then this tie, giving gifts as candles glow. Oh yeah, chilling with my family, and I'll keep on getting gifts all late night. It's the festival of lights. We don't stop at 1 or 2. That is not enough for Jews. Gotta celebrate for a night. So let's do it right. Do it at the Hillel way. Lighting one more each day. Guess what? It's gonna be 8. Yo, I'll tell you what I like, what I really wanna like. Just tell me what you like, what you really wanna like. I wanna really, really, really like a Hanukkah. If you wanna be my vodka, you gotta get in this pan. Cooking you so greasy till you're nice and tan. Judah Maccabee's a leader, fought with all his friends so we could have Jewish freedom. Live on my end. If you wanna be my vodka, some get one day, then giving's done. Not me. It's gonna be 8. Each year we tell a story. We're thinking of the Maccabees. Tell me this light inside our hearts is so vague. 'Cause light lasted 8 days. Our lights lasting 8 days.
Happy Hanukkah, everyone. My name is Rebecca Keller-Scholl. I am a lifelong Unitarian Universalist, and my family and I have been members here for almost 25 years. As the chair of the worship committee, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to this virtual Hanukkah service. Unitarian Universalism is a living tradition, ever evolving, and embraces diverse teachings from many different global religions and philosophies. In our Unitarian Universalist faith, members may have theological differences, but we have many shared values. You can bring your whole self, your full identity, your questioning mind, your expansive heart. Together, we create a force more powerful than one person or one belief system, with a dedication to living in a way that always centers love. This morning, we celebrate the ancient Jewish holiday of Hanukkah. Hanukkah commemorates the victory of the Maccabees over the larger Greek army and the rededication of the Second Temple, which the Greeks had desecrated. It also celebrates a miracle that happened during this time, where just 1 day's supply of oil allowed the menorah in the rededicated temple in Jerusalem to remain lit for 8 days. This morning, we will hear stories, reflections, and music from Jewish members and friends of First Parish as we seek to rediscover the miracle of Hanukkah. We have so much to offer each other and ways in which we can learn and grow together. You can learn more about all that's happening at this church by going to our website, uuneedham.org, or following us on social media. Whoever you are, wherever you are at in your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Happy Hanukkah.
For our chalice, we are using the shamas of our menorah and reading words of UU minister David Breeden. In this holiday season, may the darkness of winter be dispelled in this festival of lights, and may ignorance be dispelled in the strength of compassion, reason, and sharing.
The Zinner family is joining us virtually to light their menorah. The Hanukkah celebration revolves around the kindling of a 9-branched menorah, known in Hebrew as the Hanukkah. On each of the holiday's 8 nights, another candle is added to the menorah after sundown. The 9th candle, called the shamash, or helper, is used to light the others. Jews typically recite blessings during this ritual and display the menorah prominently in a window as a reminder to others of the miracle that inspired the holiday.
Hi, today is Sunday, December 29th. That makes last night the 4th night of Hanukkah, today the 5th night of Hanukkah. We are the Zinner family and pleased to talk about our Hanukkah traditions.
So for me, lighting the menorah always reminds me of gathering with family and reminding me to celebrate no matter what. I remember when I was little, we had extended family over to celebrate one of the nights of Hanukkah, and while we were celebrating, a tree branch fell down and knocked all the power out of the house. And instead of letting it, ruin the night, we decided to keep celebrating, and we spent the rest of the night by the light of the candles. And so now, as a bit of a family tradition, we like to celebrate at least one of the nights by candlelight.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who sanctifies us and commands us to light the Hanukkah lights. Amen.
Light one candle for the Maccabee children, with thanks that the light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when the right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. Light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through all that our tears. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in, that anger won't tear us apart.
repeats the song in our heart. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. What's the memory that's valued so highly? We keep it alive in that flame. What's the commitment of those who have died when we cry they've not died in vain? Have we come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail? This is the burden, and this is the promise, and this is why we'll not fail. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears.
In the Unitarian Universalist tradition, the covenant is a set of promises the membership of a congregation strives to honor with one another and out in the world. Whether we participate in our community online or in the building, we strive to live these promises every day. Please say along with me the words of our parish covenant as in your order of service. We gather as a loving community to encourage and comfort one another. We gather as a diverse community to support each other in our search for spiritual truth. We gather as a service community to live our beliefs through action and care for our world.
This is my version of a story called The Hanukkah Bear by Eric A. Kimmel, and the illustrations are by Mike Wanuka. I'm just going to call this Baba Branya and the Hanukkah Bear. Once, long, long ago, about 100 or more years ago, near the village where my grandparents grew up, in a little shtetl, that means village in Yiddish, in the shtetl of Gritzev. It was a cold, cold Russian winter, because in those days it was Russia, but today it would be called Ukraine. This is a wonderful story about a bear that sleeps in winter when it's cold, and Baba Branya, who is, if you would believe it, 97 years old if she's a day. And Baba Branya was the best latke maker in the village. Latkes are those little potato pancakes that you love to eat for Hanukkah. And so Baba Branya was making latkes for the rabbi. But first we have to go back 6 months when all the children of the village brought strawberries to Baba Branya. It was Rivka and Malka and Simeon and Benjamin and Ethel. And little Ethel was the smallest of the bunch, and she carried her strawberries so proud in her apron, like an apron just like this, and she carried it all the way to Baba Branya. And Baba Branya and the children together made strawberry jam, the best strawberry jam you ever had. And she put it high up on a shelf because she knew those children would come by and eat strawberry jam whenever they could. So Baba Branya had the strawberry jam, and the farmers were growing the potatoes and the onions, for this was a beautiful shtetl where they all helped each other. And the other wonderful thing that happened is that at the end of fall, the children would take all of the apples that had fallen on the ground and they'd bring them once again in their little skirts and their buckets to Baba Branya, and they would make apple jam with apples and a little bit of brandy for the adults and some almonds. And there was a little song that they sang. Intele Vigele steht da klein Ziegele und du Ziegele wird essen Mandeln, which is basically like a little white goat and some raisins and some almonds. and the raisins and the almonds, but not the goat, went into the jam. So one night when the bear had woken up because he smelled Baba Branya's potatoes that she had grated by hand all day long, because only 1 or 2 children came out in the cold to help her. It was Rivka and Ethel. And they said, "Oh, but Baba Branya, our hands are so cold. Our hands are so cold." And she said, "Okay, children, we'll sing the song." And this time the song was Into the Wiegele, steh da klein Ziegele, and the children fell asleep. Well, she cut the onions and cried. Not because she was really sad, because you always cry when you cut onions. Well, she made up this wonderful recipe, and first you had to squeeze out, as you all know, the potatoes to make sure it's not too watery, and you put in the onions, and you get some goose fat or some schmaltz, some chicken fat, and you put it in a big cast iron, and you're cooking. Well, these latkes, and of course you have to put in a little nuts in them. These latkes smelled so delicious, and the bear woke up in the forest. He followed that scent all the way to Baba Branya's door. Well, Baba Branya was expecting the Rebbe and all the children in the village and all their parents too. And she opened the door and she said, "Oh, Rebbe, I'm so glad to see you." But you see, Baba Branya was so blind at this point in her life and so kind of deaf that she couldn't hear very well or see very well. And when the Rebbe came in, she said, "Oh," and she's like, "Oh, darling, Rebbe, you sound so ravenous, so hungry." And all of a sudden, all of the latkes started to be eaten one at a time. But Rebbe was not even saying the motzi, were not even saying the blessings over the menorah. The next thing she knew, all of the jam was all over the Rebbe's beard, and she said, "Rebbe, how could you be such a messy feeder?" And she came up to him and she wiped all that off, and she tugged on his beard and said, "Oh, Rebbe, your beard has really grown." And she realized that he hadn't even taken off his fur coat, and she tried to help him off, but it wouldn't come off. And then they played dreidels with the nuts, and the Rebbe just ate all, oh my gosh, and she kept it to herself, how almost embarrassingly rude the Rebbe was. Well, the next thing you know, the bear was so filled with all of the latkes and the jam, and he had eaten everyone. He left the building, and Baba Branya was like, "Whew!" Well, then came a knock on the door. "Who's that?" Baba Branya said. The Rebbe said, "It's me, the Rebbe, and all the How could that be? You were just here. You ate all the latkes. That's impossible." Well, the children saw on the floor, in some of the flour that got spilled, they saw big bear prints. And they realized that there had been a bear in there, and he had eaten all of the latkes and the strawberry jam. But Baba Branya had another jar, and she brought down a jar of the apple jam, and all of the children pulled out the graters, and they started grating the potatoes and the onions, and they brought some more goose fat, and within half an hour, they had remade the feast. And they all ate and told stories forever after about Baba Branya and the bear. And they all had a very happy Hanukkah. And I hope you do too.
I'm David Berman, and my partner Nancy Temple and I have been asked to share some reflections on Hanukkah. When I was growing up, Hanukkah was important to my family, but there's no doubt it was to keep up with Christmas. If the Gentile kids were getting presents, we would get presents. In fact, one year when I was little, I insisted on hanging a stocking. My parents must have hated it, but they went along and put in some minor gifts. I think this happened just that once. Looking back, it's probably not that I learned about Judaism, but that I learned about Santa Claus. Nancy, did your family celebrate when you were a kid?
I grew up in a secular household. In fact, I first heard about God at the age of 8 from a friend during a playdate. My mother called herself an atheist, and my father used the word agnostic. Nevertheless, both had observant relatives. My mother's grandfather was Orthodox, and they had a strong sense of their own Jewishness. I remember as a child asking for a Christmas tree, and my father said, absolutely not. On a trip to Ireland, my mom brought a Celtic cross that she thought was pretty, but my father consigned it to a closet. I have some recollections of lighting candles and playing with dreidels as a child, but it might have been when we were visiting relatives. I don't remember celebrating with my mother and father, but that could be due to my faulty memory. What was your celebration like, David?
We didn't really follow the custom of 8 days of presents, maybe some silver-wrapped chocolates. And although we learned about the dreidel, I still remember the 4 Hebrew letters and the messages they convey. We never actually played with it. It's frankly not that interesting a game. But lighting the candles was important, and in fact the kids got to do it. I still remember the blessing that I learned as a kid. Nancy, what did you do about Hanukkah after you had kids?
By the time I had children of my own, I had experienced several instances of anti-Semitism, and I decided I wanted my kids to have a stronger sense of being Jewish than I was given as a child. So my daughters went to a Jewish preschool, and we also celebrated Hanukkah at home. My ex-husband, Matthew, sang the prayer and the candles were lit. We opened presents, and we ate latkes, which on one occasion I actually made myself, using a box grater. It took all afternoon, and I don't recommend it. What about you, David?
Our family celebration eventually turned into a big family gathering with present exchange and dinner. Not necessarily on the actual dates of Hanukkah, but after Christmas to accommodate school vacations and those of us who spent Christmas with in-laws.
So it was pretty much Christmas.
Well, except our meal started with chopped liver and chopped herring, and then gefilte fish, followed by brisket, and always tzimmus and kugel, and of course potato latkes. There's a lot of truth in the old joke that all Jewish holidays are the same. They tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat. So, Nancy, how has the Hanukkah tradition continued in your children's lives?
Well, my younger daughter, Anna, married into an evangelical Christian family and has pretty much disappeared into that church in Virginia. But my older daughter, Alex, who lives in Arizona, will be visiting David and me this Hanukkah. She called and asked if we could light the candles. She still remembers the prayer, and she recited it for me over the phone. I'll be buying some frozen potato latkes, and we'll have those after we eat our traditional Christmas Day meal of Chinese food. Hanukkah is usually celebrated as a holiday mainly for children, and in many families the celebration fades as the children get older, as it did in my own. But during the dark winter days of the pandemic, when light and hope felt distant, David and I began celebrating Hanukkah together by lighting the candles while David recites the prayer.
So the tradition continues.
These words are from Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel from his Essential Writings. God follows me everywhere, weaves a net of glances around me, dazzles my blind back like a sun. God follows me everywhere like a forest. My lips are constantly astonished, heartfelt mute, like a child stumbling upon an ancient shrine. God follows me everywhere, like a shudder. I yearn for rest, but within me sounds the call. Come, see how visions linger in the street. I stroll about, my thoughts like a mystery, down a long corridor through the world. And sometimes, high above, I see the faceless face of God. God follows me in trams, in cafes. Oh, only the backs of my pupils can I see how mysteries arise, how visions transpire. Please join me in the spirit of prayer. We are in the midst of the wonder of Hanukkah, the miracle of resilience for the cherished oil to burn for 8 nights. May we find this resilience within ourselves, with the help of the sacred, known by many names. This resilience will surely be hard fought, but it will be worth it, as it will change us and the world. Let our light bring those out of darkness. Let our warmth bring those out of loneliness. Let us use our voices for those who cannot speak. Let us use our power for the powerless. Let us not forget each other and hold the light for those who cannot hold it right now, but will be able to with our help. In this season of light, let us go forward joyfully and boldly, knowing God is with us and will be with us as we move with resiliency to change the world. May it be so.
The Miracle by Philip Raskin. The rabbi tells his old tale, the pupils seated round, and thus, my boys, no holy oil in the temple could be found. The heathens left no oil to light the Lord's eternal lamp. At last, one single jar, was found with the high priest's stamp. Its oil could only last one day, but God hath wondrous ways. For lo, a miracle occurred. It burned for 8 whole days. The tale was ended, but the boys, all open-eyed and dumb, sat listening still, as though aware of stranger things to come. Just wait, my boys, permit me, pray, this liberty to take. Your rabbi, may he pardon me, has made a slight mistake. Not 8 days, but 2,000 years that jar of oil did last. To quell its wondrous flames availed no storm, no flood, no blast. But this is not yet all, my boys. The miracle just starts. This flame is kindling light and hope in countless gloomy hearts. And in our long and starless night, lest we should go astray, it, beacon-like, sheds floods of light, and eastwards points the way, where light will shine on Zion's hill, as in the days of old. The miracle is greater, boys, than what your rabbi told.
What I remember as a secular Jewish girl growing up in Manhattan, but also attending Episcopalian school, first run by nuns from kindergarten to 3rd grade, and then just plain Episcopalian chapel 3 times a week in the village when I was 4th grade to 8th grade, was how beautiful New York looks at Christmas time, and how kind of jealous I was. We celebrated Hanukkah in a very kind of modern blended way of having a silver tinsel fake tree with blue lights, which my mom called a Hanukkah bush. And my stepmother was married to a man who was Greek, so and her kids were only half Jewish, so we had a Christmas tree every year where they lived in Nyack, and it was my responsibility, which I liked, to untangle the Christmas lights. So, it kind of blends all together. I think we definitely had a menorah, but we definitely always had Lisa's split pea soup on Christmas Eve, and opened presents and actually saved the stockings for the morning. So again, very kind of multi-religion blended season. But I always really felt, I always never forgot and always felt Jewish and loved Hanukkah and loved playing dreidel and loved the gelt. So it was always a very mixed emotions and mixed traditions, but I really, enjoyed both of them. And since my family really wasn't religious per se, and my mom always thought that, as her belief as a Jew, that she felt that Jesus was prophet, but that he wasn't Christ. And I hope I don't offend anybody by her saying that, but that's what she believed. And so it was very interesting. So that's my Hanukkah story. Happy holidays, everybody, and Happy New Year.
This is the time in our service when we, the modern stewards of this congregation, offer to give what we can to build and sustain the world we envision. If you would like to donate to today's offering, please follow the instructions on the screen or go to our website, uuneedham.org, to make your donation. There is a giving button in the upper right corner with a drop-down menu, where you'll find an entry labeled Donate Now. Thank you for everything you are able to give to help support and sustain this congregation. Please take these next few moments to give what you can, and know it will be gratefully received.
Once again, this story is my version of Women of Light or Women of Flame. Part of stories that were told by a collective of Jewish women in the 70s and 80s. And many women gather, have Rosh Chodesh or New Moon groups. And this was from Miriam's Well, edited and facilitated by Penina Edelman. And it's a story about light, what happens when we weave light. Once, long, long ago in ancient Jerusalem, long before we counted time the way we do now, we counted time amongst the Jewish and the Arabic peoples by the moon, as we still do today. And women's sacred times were during the full moons, new moons. And that's how our lives were lived. Well, there was a young girl named Devorah who grew up to be a well-known woman to the Jewish people, Devorah, or Deborah the Judge. When she was just a little girl, she went to the market often for her mother. Often she went with family members, but sometimes her mother would let her go alone because it was so close to where they lived in Jerusalem in the old city. And in the market, there were the bazaars, the market. There were spices sold here. There were silks or materials sold there. There were foodstuffs like dates sold here or goat milk there if you didn't have a goat. And way back in the far, far corners, back around that bend, back around this bend, back around that bend, there was an old who made wicks. And she made them in her hands, and her hands were old with time, almost as old as she was. And she would weave and weave and weave the wicks from hemp and a little bit of flax sometimes papyrus that was grown, but usually it was hemp that was grown. And she would spend her days singing, almost imperceptible, almost to herself. And what this song meant was how good it was for us to live in peace, as sisters, as brothers, as people, as all being. Well, one day when Deborah was walking down the paths of the bazaar, she got a little bit lost. She tried to go that way and tried to go that way and thought she could go that way and really had no idea which way to go until she found an old man. And this man sold the most beautiful and fragrant spices. And he was of an Arabic origin. And though she spoke just a little Arabic and he spoke just a little bit of Hebrew, they were able to communicate with each other. And she said, "Where should I go? I'm a little bit lost." And the old man pointed in the direction of the old woman. "That's where you need to go." And she thanked him, Salam, Shalom, and they parted ways. And she walked down there and she said, "Pardon me, Ima, I don't know where I am. I don't know where to go." And the old woman knew who had been coming, and she was been waiting for her for quite some time. And as she saw her singing, the most magical thing that she had ever seen in her life was happening. It's as if the swirling stars of the cosmos were coming down into the wicks, and the light of the very center of the earth was coming back out of it. It was magic to behold, but not the wrong kind of magic, like the divine magic that Hashem gives us. Hashem meaning the word for the divine, or the Shekhinah, also part of the divine essence, the female indwelling presence. And as the old woman was singing, Devorah felt something change inside of her. Well, it was getting very late, and she said, "Oh, Ima, I must go for today. But thank you so much for this gift." And she gave her one ring. And she went on her way back home. And the next day she decided to come back. And once again, she got lost until she saw the old man with the spices. Oh, the spices smelled so delicious that it just almost turned her in the right direction to go down the path. And the old man walked with her a little bit, Shalom, Salam, got her all the way there. And
Well, every day, Devora came back, and the old woman gave her a little bit more of the secret of how she made her wicks, how she chose just the right hemp of flax or papyrus, how she wove it together, and the special prayer that she sang about people living in peace, and about the inspiration she found from the Shekhinah and Hashem. Until she got to the fifth day, because she'd been instructing her to find the light and goodness inside of herself. Not saying that the dark of the night is bad, especially as we're at Hanukkah time, but that you need the light and the dark, just as Hashem had created in the first day of creation. You need both to recognize the hour. Well, she felt she had learned that lesson, and then the old woman took a bag or a basket really of rocks, and she dumped them out of the floor, and she said, today I'm going to stay alone. What you need to do is ask God special prayers, the Shekhinah as well, to take each one of these rocks is going to represent where you feel pain, anger, frustration, or meanness, or jealousy, or greed, or any of those emotions that take the light away from us. And you're going to do this for 8 days. Well, really, those 8 days turned into 8 years. And by the time of those ended those 8 years, which were really more like 80 years, Devora had finally learned all of the lessons that the old woman had been teaching her. One of the lessons that you can try yourselves is to go take a rock and allow each time for the light and the darkness to carry away that pain or frustration or anger or jealousy or greed or needs. And you can take the rock and throw it back into the beautiful waters if you want to. Well, the other lesson that Devora finally learned by the end of her life was how to judge people in compassion, how to be a judge and offer guidance. Because by getting rid of all the jealousy, the anger, the hate, all of that, she was able to be very balanced and very fair and very compassionate. The other little trick that Devora spent her days doing and taught to her daughters and her granddaughters and her great-great-granddaughters and all the way throughout time up until our families today was that she could do this in the present time back for the ancestors. She could imagine their pains, their jealousies, their hatreds, their frustrations. And once one cleansed oneself of all of this, knowing that life is life, these things can come back, she could spend her days weaving the hemp and bringing the light forth at Hanukkah time. Hine matov umanai, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanai, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. And the light was good, the darkness was good at Hanukkah. She thanked the old man always, and the old woman. Salam, shalom, Chag Sameach.
Cut. All right, that's a wrap.
All right, guys, we gotta go.
Bye.
See ya.
All right, see you later, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll see you practice.
I see a light reflection. Refraction isn't nothing more than a chemical reaction. It flickers and grows. Nobody knows how much we feel, how quickly it goes. Turn off the dark and vanquish the night. Show the whole world for 8 days of twilight. Then and now they fought and we fight. Fight for the right to live by our own light. Let me see the light. Give me something to live by. Let me see the light. I need something to live by. Help me see myself in my reflection. Shine to the light. Let me shed the light in each direction. Shining bright. I wanna see the light. A million times the speed of sound, fast enough to go around the world that we live in, so much cold and strife. One little light to warm another life. Through the darkest night with the brightest light, 'cause it's time for you to shine. A little dedication, small illumination, just one person to change a whole nation. Let me see the light. Give me something to live by. Let me see the light. I need something to live by. Let me see myself in my reflection. Shine to the light. Whoa, let me shed the light in each direction. Shining bright. I wanna see the myself in my reflection. Shine tonight. Let me shed the light in each direction. Shining bright. Shine. Let me see myself in my reflection. Let me shed the light in each direction.
Action.
It's a match!
We always extinguish our chalice with the words of Elizabeth Selly Jones. Please read along with us. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
The Flame by Yankee Tauber. We can sit and gaze at it for hours. It's luminous, it's warm, it's romantic. But most of all, it's spiritual. In what way spiritual? We can't say, but it is spiritual. A yellow droplet of light laced with red, bright white at the edges and blue at the core, as if dirtied by its contact with the material wick. But we didn't see all those colors until we counted them. The flame itself is perfect, integral, whole, emanating calm and tranquility. How indeed can something as agitated as the flame radiate such peace? For the flame is a clash of forces pulling in opposite directions. Look closely. See how it strains upward, striving to tear away from the wick which tethers it to the candle or lamp, and lose itself in the great expanses of energy that gird the heavens. But look again, and see how it clings to the length of braided cotton that spears its heart and supplies it with the fuel that sustains its luminance and life. Back and forth, up and down, it strives, vacillating between being and naught, between presence and oblivion. The soul of man is a candle of God, Proverbs 20:27. For the soul of man, too, is a clash of divergent forces and contrary strivings. We yearn to tear free of our wick, of the body that anchors us to the physical reality and sullies us with physical needs and wants. We strive upwards, yearning to transcend the physical, the human and the particular, and fuse with the universal and the divine. At the same time, we cling to the body, to the bit of matter that sustains us as dynamic and productive participants in God's world. It is this perpetual up and down, this incessant vacillation from selfhood to selflessness and back again, that we call life. It is the eternal tension between our desire to escape the physical and our commitment to inhabit it, develop it, and sanctify it, that makes us spiritual beings. We can sit and gaze at the flame for hours because we are gazing at ourselves.
little jug, just enough for the lamps for one night. That one little jug burned 8 whole days, and it kept our new temple in light. 8 candles we'll light, and a 9th one too. Every new year that comes and goes, we'll think of the many in the hands of the few, and thank God that we're seeds of the Jews. Thank God we're seeds of the Jews. Tip-tap-toe, happy Hanukkah, around you go. My little latke on your toes. Happy Hanukkah, and around you go. Clap your hands, happy Hanukkah, clap, clap hands. My little strudler on your toes. Happy Hanukkah, and around you go. Jump real high, happy Hanukkah, jump, jump high. My little fruitcake on your toes. Happy Hanukkah, and around you go. Run, run fast, happy Hanukkah, run, run, run. My little sugar pie on your toes. Happy Hanukkah, and around you go. Hop, 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 happy Hanukkah, yippity hop. My little shoodly on your toes. Happy Hanukkah, around you go. Tip-tap-toe, happy Hanukkah, around you go. Happy Hanukkah on your toes. Happy Hanukkah, around you go. Tip-tap-toe, happy Hanukkah, around you go. My little latke on your toes. Happy Hanukkah, around you go.